Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Arena. It is the last edition for the week, but more importantly, it is the fourth edition when it comes to the new month, which is the month of March. Now, let's delve into the thick of things as quickly as possible, and we'll start with the world of football. England, precisely where the FA Cup matches were rounded up yesterday when it comes to Everton booking their place in the quarterfinals of the fixtures, and you also had the draws, and the draws are now out for the quarterfinal fixtures. You have Middlesbrough drawing Chelsea. That's one that we should watch out for, considering Middlesbrough have knocked out Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. So you want to regard Middlesbrough as the giant killers when it comes to the FA Cup. Remember, this is the tournament, the oldest cup competition in the history of football in the entire world. More importantly, it is a competition that sees so many upsets occur. And as I said earlier, Middlesbrough have taken the scalp of Manchester United, with the latest being Tottenham Hotspur in the last round. So Chelsea would definitely be on the lookout for a potential upset, and they will be playing the quarterfinal fixture away from home. So Middlesbrough will be home when they take on Chelsea in the quarterfinal. Other quarterfinal fixtures, you have Southampton against Manchester City. That's one to watch out for, and that will be taking place at the St. Mary's Stadium, which should make it entertaining because Manchester City will be away from home, and it's an all-Premier League affair. That's one that we should also expect to live up to the billing when it comes to the FA Cup draws. You also have Liverpool, who are in the hunt for the unprecedented quadruple. They would also be playing whoever wins the match between Nottingham Forest and Huddersfield Town. Now, that's one that should go Liverpool's way because the match will take place at Anfield, and you expect Liverpool to go all the way in terms of booking a place in the semi-final, regardless of who the opponent is in the quarterfinal. Remember, Nottingham Forest and Huddersfield Town will play one another, each other, I beg your pardon, and then the winner would definitely play Liverpool. That match will take place at Anfield. Let's see if Liverpool can keep up the hunt for all four titles at their disposal this season. They've won one, which is the Carabao Cup final. There's 3 months to go. The FA Cup, the Premier League, as well as the UEFA Champions League. No team in the history of English football has been able to achieve that. You've had Manchester United as well as Manchester City win the treble, but no one has been able to win the quadruple. Let's see if Liverpool can make that happen this season. The final fixture when it comes to the FA Cup is Everton against Crystal Palace. As I said yesterday night, you had Everton booking their place in the quarterfinals, courtesy of a 2-0 win over Burnham Wood, and that has sealed their place against Crystal Palace. This will take place at the Goodson Park, so it is good news for Frank Lampard's men when it comes to the FA Cup quarterfinal against Crystal Palace. So there you have the fixtures. A quick run through the fixtures once again. Middlesbrough against Chelsea, that should be entertaining. You have Southampton against Manchester City. You also have Liverpool against Nottingham Forest or Huddersfield Town. And finally, Everton against Crystal Palace. That's all it has to be when it comes to the FA Cup for this year. Now you have the matches will be played from the 18th of March to the 21st of March, that weekend precisely. That's when you have the quarterfinal fixtures for the FA Cup. Let's see who goes home with the title this time around. Now, let's move away from there and preview games that will take place this weekend as quickly as we can, because there's so much, we have so much on the menu today when it comes to the show itself, and we'll definitely just pick the highlights when it comes to weekend matches in the English Premier League. The biggest has to be the Manchester Derby, which would definitely be decisive in terms of the title race. You have Manchester City taking on Manchester United. For City, they have the momentum going their way, although in recent times they've dropped points and they've also labored to various ruins. Remember, their last win in the Premier League against Everton, 1-0 away from home, was one that was controversial, considering that Rodri handled the ball in the box, and that should have been a penalty to Everton, which the head of the Referees Association has written an apology to Everton for the error in officiating in the match. So City against Manchester United should be exciting as always when it comes to derbies. Remember, the noisy neighbours, as Sir Alex Ferguson once termed Manchester City, are no longer noisy. They are now a dominant force in English football and are the defending champions. For Manchester United, there's so much at stake for them. They're still inconsistent, but in their pursuit of a top 4 finish, this match would definitely have a bearing when it comes to their standings at the end of the season. So this is a match they cannot afford to lose. Anthony Elaga has been playing so well, scoring goals in the absence of Mason Greenwood, who has been suspended. So United have another teenager to look forward to when it comes to getting the goals up front. But when it comes to Cristiano Ronaldo, that's still worrying marks. He may have scored broken his deadlock in 2022, but there's still question marks regards his form. Oftentimes, you can bank on Ronaldo to get you the goals week in, week out, but you know what they say about father time. It seems time is catching up with him, and you can always respect his contribution to the game. But there's still other players United can look forward to, the likes of Sancho, Rashford, who is back in the mix as well. They can always look forward to them to always get the goals. Defensively, there's still question marks, no doubt, about the captain, Harry Maguire, as well as Victor Lindelof. But there's a certain DVD here to always protect Manchester United. And let's see if Bruno Fernandes, who is on your screen right about now, can get back to his best when it comes to not just scoring goals, but also assisting. There's a whole lot at stake as well for Manchester City. I said earlier they've dropped points. They were 14 points clear at the top of the table on the 15th of January, though Liverpool had 2 games at hand. But in the space of less than 2 months, that gap has been reduced to just 6 points with a game in hand for Liverpool. So City also struggling at this point in time, and they'll be banking on likes of Riyad Mahrez to make it happen for them when it comes to this fixture. Let's see who gets this. This is a very decisive one. A slip by Manchester City will definitely give Liverpool the edge when it comes to, the run of fixtures for the Premier League title. Let's see how it pans out. Now let's move away from there to the Italian Serie A. The biggest one has to be the top of the table clash between Napoli and AC Milan. Now this is a contest that should be intriguing as well, because AC Milan have faltered. Their last 3 matches have all been draws. They drew 2-2 against Salernitana. They had a 1-0 draw at home against Udinese, and in the Coppa Italia semi-final first leg, they also drew against Inter Milan. That was goalless. So you have an AC Milan side that is struggling to get a win, and you have a Napoli side that is not also consistent when it comes to stringing a run of successive wins. So this should be entertaining. It's taking place at the Diego Maradona Stadium in Naples, and let's see if AC Milan can make it count. Both teams are stuck on 57 points, but Napoli are topping the table as a result of a superior goal difference, 30 goals, and while AC Milan has 24 when it comes to goal difference. So let's see if that will count at the end of the day. But for AC Milan, this is a match they can't afford to lose, because for both teams, Inter Milan, who are third on the table with 55 points, still have a game in hand. So a win for Inter Milan in their rescheduled game will definitely see Inter Milan move to the top of the standings ahead of the 2 teams. Napoli against AC Milan. Let's see how this pans out. Now, let's move away from the fixtures, talking about weekend fixtures, now to some football stories. I would have to start with the biggest one, talking about England, Premier League precisely, and it's all about Chelsea Football Club, who have been in the eye of the storm lately, not just in terms of their on-field or off-field, heroics, but also in terms of their ownership. The latest is that Abramovich, who shockingly decided to put his club up for sale, has received offers, precisely 2 offers of 3 billion pounds, I beg your pardon, 3 billion pounds in terms of buying over the club. Now, this is the valuation that Roman Abramovich placed on Chelsea Football Club, 3 billion pounds, and you have 2 billionaires who have met with that offer, that valuation. You have Ansong Wyss, that's the Swiss billionaire, it's a 6-year-old who is looking to take over the ownership of Chelsea Football Club. Remember, this is coming as a result of possible sanctions and seizure of assets due to his close ties to Putin. Talking about Roman Abramovich, as you can see on your screen, is a very close ally of the Russian president, and all of these are coming on the back of the various sanctions that the UK government as well as the EU are imposing on Russian oligarchs. So Chelsea Football Club, 3 billion pounds up for sale, and you have 2 prospective buyers, we should put it that way. I mentioned the Swiss billionaire Hans-Jörg Wyss, who is 86 years old, looking to get the club. You also have an American investor, Todd Burley, who has also met with the 3 billion pounds valuation of the club, Chelsea Football Club. Let's see if the change in ownership would take place as quickly as possible. It's yet to be seen how the process will go, because right about now, there are sanctions on Russian individuals as well as Russian banks, and there are question marks regards how the transaction can be conducted and seamless, so to speak, because